every day. Joining us now is Congressman Adam Schiff, one of the members of the January 6th Select Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for being with us this evening. And I want to pick up a bit from the conversation that we were just having with Michael Schmidt, who says, you know, what happens? You're gathering lots of information. We are more and more certain of the plot to overthrow the election and possibly democracy. It wasn't simply an attack on the Capitol. That would have been bad enough. But what happens if there isn't something that causes Donald Trump to be held accountable before the midterm elections?
Well, our goal is really to fully analyze what went into this multi-pronged effort to overturn the election and how we protect our democracy going forward, what kind of recommendations we need to make sure we never have another January 6th or anything like it. It isn't really our role to prosecute the former president or to develop evidence for the Justice Department to do so. The Justice Department should be doing their own investigation. They certainly are vis-a-vis the violence on January 6th, but they should be doing an investigation of these other multiple lines of effort to overturn the election. But we will consider our work successful if we write the comprehensive report of what took place, if we make a series of sound recommendations, and if we inform the public about what went on. In that respect, I think the series of public hearings we're going to do will be every bit, if not more important, than the ultimate report.
So when you make the point, and you've made it before, that it isn't your job, it wasn't your role to do certain things, and that the committee, by nature of the type of thing it is, does not have the ability to prosecute criminally, and that the Justice Department should be, what's your sense of... That sounded a little like dissatisfaction from you. Do you feel that the Justice Department is pursuing this as vigorously as it should be?
Well, I feel they're pursuing the violence on January 6th vigorously, and including people who were not present but nonetheless were involved in a seditious conspiracy. Where I have less confidence is other efforts to overturn the election, such as the former president on the phone with the Secretary of State in Georgia, trying to coerce that secretary into finding 11,780 votes that don't exist. I think if you or I or any of your viewers were on the phone recording a conversation like that, we would be under investigation. And it shouldn't matter that this was the former president of the United States. So on those issues, I am concerned. But in terms of our role, we are going to get to the bottom of all of these efforts. We're going to make them public, and we're going to try to legislate in a way that protects us from any recurrence.
You make an interesting distinction, which you've written about in your book, and that is whether you look at January 6th as a day and an attack on the Capitol, a violent attack on the Capitol, or whether you see that remarkable, dangerous, dark attack on the Capitol and on the process that was underway in Congress as being the fruits of an effort to overturn the election itself and to undermine democracy. And it is that bigger second issue that is probably of greater long-term concern to us as Americans.
I think that's exactly right. And Ali, tragically, when we look back on this, last few weeks where we had the anniversary of January 6th, we're in a worse position than we were a year ago because the Republican Party has decided, rather than repudiate what went into that violence on January 6th, rather than repudiate the big lie about our elections that drove people to that violence, they're using that lie all around the country to disenfranchise people of color, to attempt to subvert the next election. Their lesson seems to be if they couldn't get a Secretary of State in Georgia to find 11,780 votes that don't exist, they want to make sure they have somebody in that position and others next time who will. And so that threat goes on. And in that sense, the work of our committee is not just looking backward, it's very much looking forward.
Congressman, it's good to talk to you again. Thank you for being with us this evening. California Congressman and member of the January 6th Committee, Adam Schiff. We appreciate